Okay, recording started. Hmm. Cool. So, Eddie, what's the weather like in the Bay Area? Is it nice and cold there since it's summer? Oh, yeah,
What? Yeah, it's actually not bad.
not bad.
Right now it's like 50s, 70s right now.
Okay, that's not too terrible. That's not too terrible. All right, very
Yeah, I'm originally from Philadelphia, and
cool.
my grandma she said it was like San Francisco was the coldest summer she ever had
Yep.
out here. So
Yep, there's a famous Mark Twain quote about that as well. So, yeah, so true. Very cool. Garrett, what do you do in Nashville, Tennessee, if you don't mind sharing?
I actually run a managed service company, and so AI and automation is the next step in everything. And so, looking at apps and how that applies to clients, how that applies to um, situations and solutions out there. So, just I'm a newbie, so I'm trying all the different apps, trying all the different things out there, and so pretty exciting, but a lot to soak in.
I'm sorry, but your the white hairs in your beard suggest that you're not exactly a newbie, sir. I see quite a bit of experience. All right,
So, well, newbie accounting,
okay.
right?
All right. We'll allow it. We'll allow that.
Right.
All right. Let's go ahead and kick off. So yeah, we're recording. So those who can't join us will be able to watch this later. But yeah, thanks, Garrett, Eddie, for being here in person. In case you don't know, you obviously know Tristan, but you have Matt Check, right? Did I get your name right? I want to make sure. Okay, good. He's also with NoCode-X. I don't know if you're aware of that, but he's here with us as well. So yeah, today same agenda format as last time. Some updates and then some Q&A. I don't think I didn't see very many or any questions in the Discord chat, but just like last time, let's use Discord to chat with each other just since we're already familiar with it and we all have it. Um but yeah, we'll let we're going to hand it over to Tristan to share the big updates, and then we'll go into some of the smaller details after that. Okay. So over to you, Tristan.
All right, all right. So, first of all, the status of the big changes that we're doing in NoCode-X. So let me quickly share my screen. So
Can you turn your volume up a little bit, Tristan, or your mic volume maybe? Just a little bit more would be better, at least for me.
or maybe I can move it a little bit closer. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds good. All right. That's good.
All right, all right. So a little bit of an update here on the status of the big changes in NoCode-X. So the first big change is first of all Rocket Mode, completely overhaul of Rocket Mode. So as I showed you guys last time, you can now go back and forth with the AI and create an application plan. So from the beginning, you start with a prompt, and then the AI asks you, "Do I understand this prompt correctly?" You can go in, change this understanding of your prompt manually, or you can ask the AI, "No, you misunderstood this part. I want you to do it better on that part," and so on. So if you move on, it generates you a customer journey. Again, you can go in manually, do some changes, or ask the AI, okay, add these steps to the customer journey or remove this step, add a feedback step in the end, stuff like that. And then from that point, the AI starts creating a set of features. It's not really creating them, it's still planning. We're still in the planning phase right here. So it created for me task creation, task display and organization, task status management, and so on. It's all adds a description of each feature to it. If you are happy with that, you can move on. Now, I just had a meeting with Garrett. I showed him the exact same process here, and up until the end here, I thought we were at the end. We checked. we actually burned 50 credits. So up until your entire application plan is complete, it costs you like 50 credits, and then you can move on to the next phase, is the actual building. So the next phase will start with building your database. In my example here, it builds one table to get to hold the tasks of my application. And the next step is then actually start building the actual application. So it started building a site navigation, a header, and a footer, and then you can go back with the AI, making changes to the header, footer, and site navigation. And then it starts creating the actual first page for you. Again, you can go back and forth with the AI to request some changes. And if you're done with all the pages that are in your application plan as you defined it right here together with the AI, you move on to the next step, is the actual more generic interactive mode, where you define, where you really detailed request the AI to make some changes in a particular part of your application. The AI comes back to you and says, hey, I made these changes. Can you test it out? If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, let's try again. Now, that is then the status that you will remain in to make updates to your application. The other way of making updates to your application is, of course, the visual development layer, which you can switch here, as I showed you guys last time as well. So you can switch this here, and then you open up this view, and that takes me right to the second big update that we've been doing, is this folder view right here. So as you can see, this is all generated, and you will be able to see that the AI also generates a couple of folders for you. So it makes your application that is being generated really structured. And then you can go in and make changes to your application manually if you want to. So for example, here there is a page generated, and let me switch off borders right here. If you want, for example, to add another title, and for some reason the AI doesn't do it when you ask it to do, so you can change it right here manually. So that's that. And of course, that's not limited to the pages. You can also go down in, for example, here, a piece of logic that the AI generated for you. You can see every single step of the logic that is being followed, and you can make changes to that step as well. So to talk a little bit more about the folder structure right here. So you have different folders. You can add more folders to it. You can add templates to folders, add APIs, add actions, jobs, data schemas, and a design system to your folders. You can rename folders in place, just like this. Just by double clicking anything, you can rename items such as templates and data schemas and everything that I've been talking about. So it really feels like a real code editor. The only thing, it is the code. It is an abstraction of code. So every time you open up one of these abstractions, you open up a visual layer actually of code. So to give you a complete status update, last Wednesday, I told you guys it will be arriving on production really soon, within a couple of days. Today, I can tell you that tomorrow we will be releasing both the folder structure as the new rocket mode that will have you going back and forth with the AI. Voila. And I think that is, unless, are there any questions on this, on these updates? Or remarks, feedback?
Anything whatsoever on
Things that you're working
load
on?
our folders? Yeah. I mean, I'll go first. I'm really excited about the folders. I'm like desperate to have that, personally speaking. So I can't wait to use that.
All right. So tomorrow, Steve?
I'm new to it also. Yeah, looks great.
All right, cool. Thanks, Garrett. So if there's no further questions, I can move on to the next thing. And the next thing is actually something that needs to be clarified. And I created a couple of slides to clarify the things that we've been talking about. So let me quickly share these slides with you. If I'm not correct, if I'm correct, this should be okay. So you're all seeing the slides, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So in the past, we talked about export to code, and we're not 100% sure about the name yet, but let's just call it CodeGen-X at the moment. And I'll try to explain to you why we want to invest in this feature and why we want to have this in NoCode-X. And I hope you guys will follow us in this idea and see that this is the best way forward for NoCode-X. So what we are doing right now is we have like a combination of AI and no-coders, which are humans, and they create an application using an abstraction layer. And because they create this application using that abstraction layer, we can actually make sure that this application that they create is secure. So they use an abstraction layer, application comes out, and we keep in control, stay in control, and make sure the application that they create is secure. Now it has some challenges as well.
Sorry, Tristan. Yes? Can you spend like just 30 seconds when you say abstraction layer? Can you explain what you mean by that to the room?
What I mean is the what we have when we show you the visual layer. That is actually not code. That is an abstraction that will be executed by our own interpreter. So we have an own piece of software that knows how to execute these things that we built visually, and it will create an application, or it will serve an application for you. And because we have our own piece of software that does that for you, we can make sure that it's secure. Is that a correct? Is that a clear explanation?
Yes, I believe so. So you have, it's almost like your own type of language, almost intermediate language that you have first, and then,
Exactly.
and that's what when you drag and dropping elements, you're constructing a NoCode-X aspect of the language, and then you can generate from there. Okay. If anyone else has any questions,
And at the moment we have this.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, let's wait for the questions. Maybe.
Yeah.
No, okay, so I can continue. So at the moment we have this intermediate layer that interprets this NoCode-X language, so to say, and it serves the application by interpreting it. Just like like a compiler or interpreter of a software of a real coding language, of an text-based coding language would also do. But this has some challenges to it. First of all, because we have to make sure that everything that should be possible in NoCode-X is possible. This interpreter, or this piece of intermediate software, can be a little bit bloated in a sense. When you have to create a really simple application, it has to accommodate for all the other things that should be possible as well. So it can be a little bit bloated. At the moment we have web applications that you can build, and no native iOS or Android applications that you can build, only through PWA, so through progressive web apps. So that's a challenge as well. We have a huge challenge on backwards compatibility, because every change that we make, we have to make sure that every change we push to production is completely backwards compatible, because we could potentially break some apps. Now we have a lot of measures in place to prevent that, but there is always a possibility that we do that, and we don't want to break your apps. That's one of the most important things to us. Now, because of this intermediate language is more serves like a JavaScript application, SEO is not that it's not that good for SEO as well. So static so if you need like a website, which NoCodeX of course in the past we didn't build NoCodeX for websites. We made it for web applications, but most of the times websites need decent SEO rules in place. Well, this is not the perfect match for decent SEO. And if you want to self-host it, it requires running in an instance of NoCodeX, which is of course possible, but it's an extra barrier to get through. And you have a certain lock-in. If you build your application with NoCodeX, it should be built or it should be maintained on NoCodeX. And at the moment, a lot of you have noticed that we use material design as a component library. And for people that do not know what a component library is, that is the library that we use to serve or to visualize the most common elements on an application, such as buttons, input fields, date pickers, and so on. We use material design, and we by default we use this, and you cannot use any other component library. So the current approach has some challenges. Of course, it has some advantages as well, because we can keep your application secure, and we can offer through what you see is what you get with the editor and so on. So it served us really good, but we think we need to move forward, and we need to move forward in a new way. And we want to do this. We want to have the AI and the no coders still creating the same abstraction layer, no difference to that. But we want to convert the abstraction layer in a code. And because we have this conversion in our hands, we can still make sure that the code that we actually translate it to is secure. Because we have it all in our hands, no AI is helping us with doing that. This is pure what we call a deterministic process that will always have the same results with the same inputs. It will always have the same output. So we keep in control of the conversion of the abstraction layer to code. That's why we can make it secure. And the cool thing about that is once we have this code, you can host it on NoCodeX, which adds, of course, another layer of security with regards to infrastructure and so on. But you could also host it on any other data center or cloud service, cloud provider that you want. So it will be industry standard code. Now, why, besides the advantage that you can host it yourself, and what are the other advantages in our head for doing this? First of all, we can get rid of the bloatiness. We can tree shake the code by only generating what your application actually needs. And so your application will be more lean and mean and much more performant as well. We can actually be completely backwards compatible, because you decide when you generate this code. Every time you create a new version and move this version to production, a new set of code is created and is being hosted on either NoCodeX or on your own data centers. And I've talked about performance. The performance will be much better. And if you want to host it yourself, it's very easy. You can follow straight through or straight processes to host a piece of software on your own servers or on any provider's service. And very important as well, you're no longer locked to NoCodeX. We want all our customers to achieve success, and at some point your success will be so big that you want to move on from a no-code platform to like a high code environment. No more lock-in. You can do that as well. So we have no intention of hijacking anybody platform.
Can I jump in?
Or
So
it could be, yes, jump in, please, Steve.
I don't know if everyone here has had much experience with other no code builders, but this is a huge topic in my opinion. One of the common complaints is that what you build with other no code platforms, stays there. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? You can't move it around, you can't download it, you can't use it elsewhere. And so there's a lot of frustration with that because it feels like you're locked in, exactly as Tristan said. So the ability to take all of your hard work, so to speak, and get that out if you choose to do so and host it elsewhere, gives you the freedom to do what you will with it. And so, that's a huge feature in my opinion. So I just wanted to just echo what Tristan just said and call that out a little bit. Okay. Thanks, Tristan.
Yes, thanks, Steve. So what are the possible advantages for the future? So because we start from an abstraction layer, and then we use that abstraction layer and convert it to code, we can convert the same abstraction layer to several different code bases, so to say. You can choose to convert your application to a React application, or even a time leaf application, or even an Android native application or an iOS application, all from the same abstraction layer. So the idea, the advantage here is you build once and you generate or you convert it to any code base that we of course support. So the first one that we'll be supporting is React, and we'll move on from there based on what our community needs and wants. So think of it this way: if you have a no-code application that you generated and you did some manual intervention on the no-code layer, and you want to serve it on a host that serves React applications, you can do so. Or if you have like a provider that that serves time leaf applications, you can do so as well easily. Or even if you want to get a developer working on the code of your application, and you only know like a React developer, you can choose, I want to convert it to React and I want to give it to that developer. So we have freedom at that point in time as well. And of course, the most important difference here is if you want to have an application that requires building once and runs on an Android phone and an iOS phone, well, then you just have to convert it twice, once to an Android SDK and once to an Android an iOS application. So that's a huge advantage we see as well. And one of the other advantages as well that is not explained here on this slide is whenever a new cool, flashy framework appears, such as now React and Vue are the cool kids on the block. Probably tomorrow there will be others. You will be able to actually convert your application to that new kid on the block as well, even if the new kid on the block is so young that no LLMs have been trained on it up until this day. So you will never be locked to a certain type of technology.
So can you say that
Another advantage, and
sorry for the new kid, if
Yeah.
the new kid on our block, do you Tristan have to first build a translator, to generate code to that new platform? Is that what you're saying?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay,
Of course. But we'll once we have our framework for building these translators, so to say, we can look and we can make adjustments to make it as easy as possible for us to make such a translator, and so we'll have it hopefully we can move quicker than LLMs can be trained.
Okay.
Because and the reason why I say this is because, yeah, of course, LLMs need a lot of data to train themselves on new stuff, so we can move quicker before the data is even available on the internet, or such an amount of data is available on the internet. So voila. So another big advantage, and I know a lot of you people have been asking me about this, is I told you that we are using material design as a component library for NoCode-X. So you're stuck with the floating labels and the buttons that have a ripple effect. And some people like it, other people don't like it. Other people like ShatCN UI, or some people still like Bootstrap. There are a lot of different component libraries on the planet. They all offer the same kind of elements: input fields, buttons, date pickers, and so on. And they all have their own distinct look and feel. What we will be able to do by using this abstraction layer and converting it to code, we will be able to offer you the choice to convert it to something that looks like material design, or something that looks like ShatCN, or something that looks like Bootstrap, or something that looks like something else, or something that looks like the new kid on the block with regards to component libraries. So that will be also a possibility for us in the future if we continue our path to export to code. And this, I have to remind you guys, now is a good time. This will always be possible to host it on NoCode-X or on your own data centers. It doesn't matter if we export it to code. You won't have to run it yourself. You will always be able to just run it on NoCode-X as well. And then, of course, many people will be asking this question. We will also allow your own repositories to get get the code that we generate. I've put here GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket, and everything that I've put here, of course. We will be aiming to add it in the future. Of course, it will not be in the first version of export to code. As I told you guys, we'll start with React and maybe add one Git repository in there. But we have, of course, the idea that we want to offer as much as freedom as possible to our users. So I hope that this explanation makes a little bit clear why you want to head that way, why we want to invest in export to code. I know it will solve a lot of the issues that have been mentioned to us by you guys. So I hope a lot of people are very happy to hear that we are actually moving forward with this. Are there any questions about this topic? So if there are no
What are the questions? You heard Tristan call it export to code. Just be on the lookout. It's going to be renamed to be a more descriptive. Cool job. What else should I go to next? Yes, but it's going to take time for Tristan to get out of the habit.
yes, indeed. All right. Let's move on to the next.
Sorry, I had a quick question in the chatty. This video is funny. I'm not a coder by any means. I don't code at all, but I just was asking, was this open up the ability to edit applications at the code level? Wow, it's exactly. Okay, I see. Yes,
Exactly.
and it'll be before we export the code. Will we be able to edit code within that NoCode-X environment still?
Also, so that's what you're talking about, Eddie, is stuff like the HTML component, but also the JavaScript function that has been requested. These will always remain in place, and these will also be dragged along when you're exporting it to code. So you'll still be able to add some parts in code in NoCode-X and then export it to code to have a full coded application. Does that answer your question, Eddie?
Yes, yeah. Thank you. So this line is dependent. So say I build out a web application in NoCode-X, and would I have to be able to edit it before I export the code, or if do I have to export the code and then say I throw it in the Claude code and want to make some adjustments there? How would that work? Would I be able to go back and forth before I exported the full code, or
Well,
how?
of course, once you export it to full code and you make some changes by using an LLM or something like that, so you load it up into Cursor and whatever that you want to do. Um, of course, you cannot go back from that point into NoCode-X. And so the next time that you export from NoCode-X into code again, that will probably require you to do some more changes. But that being said, we are thinking of ways of making that as easy as possible. What I'm trying to explain to you, Eddie, is when you want to change uh, um, a whole lot instead of a small parts of the application by code, you will have to export it first and then change the code. You won't be able to change the code and then export it.
Gotcha. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. If there are no further questions, we can move on to the next part.
Yep.
If,
Very good.
Okay, the next part is I don't have any slides for that, but I'll just use the NoCodex bug report channel, which we also have an announcement for, but not this one. That's only the next topic. So let's keep on topic here. So as I mentioned, rocket mode and the folder structure is coming tomorrow, but also a lot of bug fixes have been done that will also arrive tomorrow. For example, Conrad made here let us know that there is a bug when he deleted an application and with the same domain name or the same subdomain, and then the other application with the same subdomain did not work. So we fixed that bug for him. So I actually in the channel I mentioned all the bugs that will be fixed next release. I flagged them as fixed next release, and I will be flagging them as fixed once the release is done. One of the other bugs that has been fixed as well is, for example, the fact that logging out always redirects to the home page. After logging out, now we've created a new function, or we've adjusted the logout function that allows you to configure a certain page for you to redirect to after logout. That's another thing that has been fixed. Also, many of the bugs logged here by Ukarpuk have been fixed as well. Not all of them. We're still working on. If I'm remembering correct, we're still working on this one right here. But most of the bugs have been fixed and will be released in this release as well. And for the people that don't know what this is about, this is mainly about the HTML element or the HTML component that did not correctly receive the data that was in, for example, global variables or template parameters. So we've fixed those bugs, and they will be arriving in production as well. Now, another thing that we have fixed, I don't think it's in here, but when you call an API and you get a timeout from that API, you now receive a status that indicates that you have a timeout. So you'll be able to change your logic to change your logic to accommodate with the fact that you got a timeout. For example, do a retry or something like that. You will also be able to adjust the settings for when a timeout will trigger. So you have two settings now on the API function that will allow you to adjust the amount of milliseconds before read timeout, which is actually a timeout when the API has already started returning a response, but the response is so big that you cannot read it all in a time frame. You will be able to control that by milliseconds, and the connect timeout is when the API doesn't really allow you to connect in a certain time frame. So you will be able to also adjust that and act upon it if you still hit the timeout. We also have the reduce function. So there was an issue where reduce functions or the reduce function did not work in a certain case. If I remember correctly, that case was when you used the map to body in between, or map to attribute in between. So you have your data, for example, from your database. You use map to attribute to map a list of data to a list of single attributes, and then you for example, you use the reduce function to make a sum of all the numbers in your list. Well, at that point in time, this function failed and did not really do what it should supposed to do. So we fixed this bug as well. We also fixed this bug where and Eddie made a movie here. So where nested objects in the test layout did not really save correctly. So we fixed this bug. So now if you add nested objects to your tests, they will of course save, and you'll be able to use them in subsequent test runs as well.
Just to clarification, I think not now, but from tomorrow, from the moment we deploy those.
Yeah, of course. I when I say now, I mean we fixed it, and it will be live tomorrow with the release. Yeah. That's a good addition. Thank you, Maciek. So we're I think this one as well here. So where if I'm not mistaken, there is one function, search one data record, that did not really return the audit fields for a piece of data, such as created date, created by, modification date, and modified date. So this is also being fixed as from tomorrow. So it will return what you expect it to return, and you will be able to, of course, again use this in your logic. Another one that we fixed is the fact that the checkbox had a different behavior when you hovered over a certain checkbox, and you hovered over the text of the checkbox. So this will be fixed as well. So I think this is a grasp of out of the bug fixes that we will be fixing tomorrow. Now, from starting tomorrow, we will also be fixing more bug fixes and doing quicker releases as well. We waited to the release just because of the big functionalities coming up, but normally from tomorrow it will start. We will start releasing as fast as possible and get those bugs out of there as fast as possible as well. So be prepared to see a lot of these fixed in the coming days as well. So we'll clean up this channel. Voila. So are there any questions with regards to this topic?
I'll wait another minute, but I want to. I think now will be a good time to talk about the process as well. So, but does anyone else have any questions about the bug fixes? All right. So as you heard Tristan say that there's going to be a focus and a push on closing out some of these bugs because we take feedback seriously, and Tristan wants to make the applicate or the platform even more stable. One of the challenges, of course, is that Tristan, you probably don't realize this, but Tristan gets these bugs submitted multiple channels. Discord that you just saw is just one, and so we talked about how to try to streamline that somewhat. And so one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to be looking to add a way to submit bug fix requests from directly within the NoCode-X platform. There'll be a little icon where you can say submit bug or something along those lines. A window will pop up and you'll put your details in there. And we'll gradually be directing everyone toward that. And so eventually that means we'll be shutting down the Discord bug fix channel so that, because, it's hard to, track those bugs in there, as you saw. Another reason we want to do that is, communication. We've heard that some people aren't happy with the level of communication, between the NoCode-X and the, individuals who requested bugs, for example. And so this is a way to take a step in the direction of keeping people notified automatically that, A, we got your bug, B, we're working on it. And by we, I mean Tristan and Maciek. And then C, the bug gets closed, basically. So people can be, automatically notified via email or perhaps even other channels. We'll see, maybe in Discord even. But that's the reason we're going to be doing that. So, be on the lookout for that announcement. We're still early days, planning that as well. And then while we're on topic, very similarly, we're looking at how you can submit requests for enhancements or suggestions for enhancements. And then also, being able to track those and upvote them like you've probably seen on other platforms as well. So there'll be a change coming with that. But we're going to start with a bug fix. And like I said, we'll keep you informed each step of the way. Okay. All right, that's it for me.
All right. So I think that is it for the agenda.
Oh, yeah.
Besides going on to Q&A,
Double check Discord. Does anyone on the call have any questions, comments, feedback, anything whatsoever?
No, everything sounds good. At least to me. Thank you guys for all the work you're doing. I did. If no one else has a question, I was going to just hop on as the last one. But I was going to ask if I could send Tristan a message on Discord. It's just a picture of like my files like that I want to bring in from Figma, and I just want to ask if it be possible if you guys could just give me like a quick rundown of like how we would build this as far as like vertical components or horizontal, something like that. Sometimes like feel a little confused, so I just would ask maybe a quick look at that while I have the time.
okay,
If no one of you read it, great.
Absolutely.
that's fine. That's fine. Let's do it.
Do you have them now, or you're gonna do it later?
No, I have the picture in there, but I was just gonna send it right down. And
Okay. If you send it right now, we might go to give you some early feedback.
yeah, I did all this was built on I use an LLM to help with that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I feel like before NoCode-X, I was just used to building on Figma and then like Webflow pages, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I feel like the terminology was a little different, and I took a lot of time learning that stuff. So it was just a little harder just to come over and understand how to build it. Sure. And also, I have a question too, as far as you guys building web applications. Do you guys personally prefer to build it out visually first or build out the back end first and then bring the visual to life? How you best think about that?
I think you'll get a different animal from every developer.
Yeah, I think building it out. If I can answer that, from my perspective, building out visually will definitely help you put the pieces together where you are missing functionality or are missing a step in the flow. But it's I always think of it in two ways. You build it out visually in your head or visually on Figma, and of course you start building it out from the bottom as well, where you see, where you look at what is the data that I need to achieve what I have, what I want to achieve in this visual layer. I always think of it like that. So it's actually not, do I start from the top, or in my opinion, do I start from the top, or do I start from the bottom? I start from both, but that's just me. I think as Steve told you, everybody has his own way of working. Huh?
Yeah, I'll share mine real quick. I start with the flow. I think about, I don't worry so much. I'm not good at UI and making nice looking things, but so I start with kind of what screens do I want? And I click this button, this screen pops up, or this data gets retrieved, whatever it might be. And so I'll create, the skeletons, if you will, or straw man of the templates, and then actions that have the barest minimum of functionality. They might write to the console log or write to the log. This action was called, and then maybe I'll hard code some values in there to return, for example. And then once I get kind of what I feel like is a good flow, I click this button, I get this data. I click this button, this window pops up, whatever it might be. Then I look at kind of filling it out or filling it in with the actual fields I need and more detailed functionality. Check, how about you? What approach do you take?
First of all, great question. I really like it. Yeah, I've seen it million of times that front end was the first thing, especially when there was external client, but that's more in the past maybe. But definitely front end will tell you what you will need, and without it you can create some backends that's maybe something is missing and maybe something is extra. So starting front end will make you sure that you don't have any, that will just the right backend. But I would say don't try to build the whole front end at once, but just like build like the first small part of it, like maybe minimal selling point or the minimal cool thing, and then build a small backend just to support that, and then go back to front end and like do those small steps often.
Yeah, I
But
think
yeah, I still would start with front end because this will guide you as what to do next with backend.
Yeah, I think that's very good advice. Just go, work in small steps, iteratively, and first build something that's the most value, and then move on to the next step after that. Does that make sense, Eddie?
Yeah, thank you. That was really great emphasis. How to that. I appreciate that.
Let me add one more thing.
Anybody else has a
Oh,
yeah?
I was gonna say one more thing. This is kind of an old school approach, but when we first started thinking about full stack apps back in the day, we would separate the back end into what we call different tiers. Middle tier basically. So your tiers you'd have business logic layer, and then another above that application logic, if you will. And so I've found this helped me to think that way with this. And what I mean by that is I have actions that interact with my front end, maybe populate the different input fields, etc. But then beneath that, I have actions that do nothing but, take data from the database, maybe do some calculations, that sort of thing, but they do not interact with the front end. And so I keep that little separation. And what that does for me is when I'm building the business logic, I can, like I said, hard code those values if I need to, like provide a parameter ID or whatever it might be, run it, test it, get the output, and make sure it's functioning the way I think it should. And being able to isolate these pieces of functionality bit by bit allows me to allows me to develop a little bit faster and a little bit more predictably, with slightly iteratively. So I just wanted to add that again. That's an old school way of thinking. I don't know if it's much of the way we do things in the web design these days, but that's how we used to do it a long time ago. So
Yeah. And it's now interesting because but with the upcoming folder structure, you'll be able to structure your application in a way that you feel comfortable of working with, of course.
which is why now I'm so excited and desperate for that.
Yeah. So Eddie, you shared the Figma file. Can I I share it here through the meeting actually, or
Yeah, no problem. This just I just took a quick screenshot before I got on the road. Just to
Alright.
share this and this. But yeah, no problem. And the concept behind it is like my family, they in Philadelphia, they run like an ice cream shop type thing. And they want to start working with helping like youth programs with fundraising. So that's my idea behind the app. But yeah. Shit.
Very cool. If I look at this page, so maybe we'll start with this on the left right here. It's the matter, Eddie. So you want to ask us how would I create this page in NoCode-X, right?
You get because so like I was watching you guys the mind shift walkthroughs, and that was helping a lot actually from like the last time when I just was totally confused. So I just want to know like how you would set it up. So would you start with like an overall vertical list? How you did like mind shift? You would just start there.
Yeah, exactly. But the most of the times I just start with a vertical list, and then I put everything in that vertical list. And I do a lot of nesting with vertical and horizontal lists. So I can show you like this. So this entire page should be in my head a complete vertical list, and then this should then be, for example, a horizontal list where you put in a title and an icon or an icon button, and then this would be another element in this vertical list, which would then be another vertical list where you can put in a title, a little bit of text, and a button. And as a background of this vertical list, you can put then the image that you want to show. And then another vertical list starts simply like this one, for example. And you put in a title, another title, and then you start adding um, to this vertical list a horizontal list where you put in that horizontal list a vertical list which has an icon, a title, and a piece of text and a border. And because this is horizontal, you can make it next to each other, so it appears next to each other if you add another vertical list. And then of course you can make a horizontal list wrap the items inside. And what wrap means is actually if there is no more room in the page, it will just drop down to the next row. So you can have 4 vertical lists like this. And this is just talking. I'm just explaining to you as if you would build a static application, a static web page. Of course, you can also like make a little bit of a reusable component out of this and put some placeholders for the icon, put some placeholders for the title and for the text, and then load it up from the database as well if you want to do that. Um, I, I, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to use the Mindshift audio series to find out how to do that. But it always the way I work, it's always the same. It's always vertical list, then a horizontal list or a vertical list, and just put the needed components in there. For example, here again a vertical list, and this is here of course a horizontal list because you want to stack them horizontally, and then you put an image in there, sorry, a vertical list with an image and a title and maybe another title with a different color and so on. So does that answer your question, Eddie?
Yeah, that actually helps a lot. Like I said, I feel like a lot of times these talks, at least with me, they help a lot just trying to figure out how you guys think and like how you would build it. So that definitely helps me a lot. I appreciate it.
And first of all, Eddie, it's very good that you say it. That's the reason why we do these campfires for these Q&As and to help you as much as possible. Another thing that I thought of is it doesn't always have to be how should I say this? It doesn't always have to be a vertical list doesn't always have to be a container, because things like this, where you have a bar in NoCode-X, you can easily create that with a vertical list inside a vertical list. So what you have to do is you create a horizontal list in a horizontal list. So what you have to do is you create a horizontal list. You give it a background to give it rounded corners, and then you create another horizontal list with a certain width, and you give it or another kind of, doesn't really matter with this regards, and you give it another color and also rounded corners, and then you have your progress bar set out for you as is designed right here. So really the main components in NoCode-X are those vertical lists and the horizontal lists, and you can do a lot of the things that you need to do with them. Does that help?
Yeah, a lot. Thank you. Yeah. I would do you said the progress bar, so that'd be like logic base on the back end. How would you
Yes.
do that? Yeah.
So you would have to somehow determine the progress of that progress bar by looking it up, for example, in your database. And so you would create a data schema containing the progress of this certain fundraising, or calculated based on the amount already raised, which should be in your database anyhow. So you create a data schema. You use, for example, search one records or fetch first item of a certain data schema. Then you get the data from your database, and then you adjust the width of that inner horizontal or vertical list based on the progress either calculated or that is stored in your database. Personally, I would store the progress as a percentage in your database, because I love when I have to visualize things in an application. I love it that I just have to fetch something from the database and just visualize it as it is stored in the database. But that has a disadvantages and advantages. Most of the disadvantages are with regards to flexibility. If you then want something else to be visualized, so you would probably need the raw data as well. But that's just me. So I would suggest maybe you store the amount fundraised in the database, and then before you store it, with every update, you calculate the percentage, and you use this percentage to visualize this fundraising, this progress bar right here. Make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I'll work on it. This past couple weeks I haven't had the chance to work on it as much, but just what I've been doing, I think right now I'm just a guy with a bunch of ideas, so I end up with a huge just like board with like all the ideas pertaining to the app, and then all the different data tables I'm connecting to it. But I'm still learning how to build the front end of it. But thank you.
Yeah, let us know how we can help.
Another suggestion?
Yeah, my 5 cents, if I may. In Figma, if you want to like move from Figma to NoCode-X, one of the ways could be also in Figma you also have this tree of components on the left side, and it will be very close to what you will have to create in NoCode-X. And also every time the Figma like a primary way to compose is to use something that is called auto layout. And this auto layout is very, very close to something we call vertical and horizontal lists. They have one, Figma has one auto layout, and then you have to say is it horizontal or vertical. So they like have one component, and then you have to specify the order. But this is very, very close because both of them use Flexbox under the hood. So they use the same technology under the hood. So in short, I'd say probably you have to replicate this Figma tree that you will see in the Figma, and to do it very close, and it's basically probably swap every smart layout for vertical or horizontal. So you should be fine.
Sure. So I just noticed we're at time or overtime. So any closing comments on this or other?
No, thank you, Sky, for taking up that last day.
Sorry, sorry.
No, you're still, yeah, you're supposed to ask questions.
Yeah.
All right. Tristan, anything else you want to say before we disconnect?
Not at the moment. I think we've said everything that we wanted to say. And please never hesitate to ask any questions. These campfires are meant for just to help you out with every single thing that you want to do with a NoCode-X. Of course.
My check. Anything else from you? Okay. All right. And yeah, nothing else from me, but except for just, thank you all for being here. And thank you all whoever's watching the video later. Thank you for using NoCode-X and sticking with it. I hope you see that, there is an effort being made to lower, if you will, the learning curve, and increase, the amount of support and help that you can get as well. So just, stick with us a little bit longer, and yeah, things should start getting a little bit easier.